In '87, Huey released this, 4, their most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Hip to Be Square. A song so catchy, most people probably don't listen to the lyrics. But they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends. It's also a personal statement about the band itself. Hey, Paul! Ah!
You are a stormtrooper. You are an NPC in a sandbox game. You are just another product of an industry designed to make you feel special. However, this isn't your fault. Humans crave individuality. We all want to believe we're different, unique, set apart from the crowd. We all want to feel special. We find music that seem to define us, follow trends we think break the norm, and build identities that feel entirely our own. Well, sorry to burst your bubble. The sense of individuality is just an illusion. Your new opinion, desire, and unique taste isn't actually yours. It's shaped by forces you can't see, while making you feel like they're truly your own. This is the power of ideology. It's a system of beliefs. As Louis Althusser describes in Ideology and Ideological State Apparatuses, it simplifies and distorts reality, an invisible influence that quietly dictates how we understand ourselves and the world around us. According to Althusser, ideology surrounds us in our social roles, our daily routines, even in what we consider to be just entertainment. We believe we're truly acting free, but in reality, our choices are guided by this unseen hand, turning us into what Althusser calls subjects of ideology, interpellation. In the text Culture Industry by Theodor Adorno, he argues that this industry is about creating real diversity. Rather, it is about standardizing culture to ensure profit. He states, the achievements of the culture industry are standardization and mass production, key ingredients for profit. In other words, it's not about variety, it's about mass appeal. Let's take pop music for example. He notes that even the structure of pop music is carefully calculated. The chorus consists of 32 bars with a range limited to 1 octave and 1 note. These details might seem minor, but they're designed to make pop music predictable, comforting, and easy to consume. If you don't believe this, try this. Recommend your friend a song that you don't hear often. Your friend will skip around the track to look for that one attractive segment. It's the one that appears on TikTok, Reels, the standardized passive consumption of music. It's just a superficial engagement rather than deep, attentive listening, actually listening to the entire song. This predictability is where illusion lies. Adorno points out that standardization isn't just a method of production, it hides the fact that these choices aren't really ours. Let me guess, you're scrolling through your Spotify, looking for something new. Specifically, something that feels like you. You tap on a playlist, maybe it's the Discover Weekly, or new releases. You feel like you just found lost treasure. Each song feels fresh, a new discovery, something you found yourself. Well, considering what we just talked about and the standardization of music Adorno mentioned, how much of this choice is actually yours? Behind the scenes, algorithms are analyzing every tap, every skip, every track you save. They're building a profile. In other words, they're building your personality. Piecing together your preferences to create a radio just for you, one that feels familiar and easy, perfectly tailored to reinforce your habits. In reality, even the underground is curated. Platforms like RateYourMusic.com or MU have top-rated lists pushing certain good music to the top. For listeners, finding high-rated music feels like a discovery of a hidden gem that reflects their unique tastes. But in reality, the list was already found, prepared, and presented. The sense of individuality we feel when we listen to obscure tracks isn't even our own.
Some listeners try to escape the mainstream trap by diving into underground or anti-pop music, convinced they're breaking free, rebelling against what's popular. But this isn't new. Take Nirvana for example. If you go out into public, you'll probably see their iconic smiley face logo on shirts everywhere. Nirvana is a pop culture staple now, but that wasn't always the case. Back in the 90s, grunge fans saw Nirvana as the ultimate voice against mainstream culture. Nirvana wasn't just another band. They were the definition of alternative, representing everything that went against pop's shiny, commercialized image. Their whole sound and message were designed to be underground. The genres alternative/punk both arose from promoting the idea of rebelling against pop music and being yourself. Additionally, the definition of grunge is something of inferior quality, trash. They create music that's supposed to be an inferior quality, punk music, a more unique style of music than those that are quote-unquote popular. But here's the irony. Despite their attempts to carve out a unique anti-pop identity, they've managed to sweep through the idea of being underground and rose to fame. Nirvana's 1991 album titled Nevermind reached Billboard's #1, overtaking the king of pop, Michael Jackson's album titled Dangerous, and since sold over 24 million copies worldwide, proving that even the most anti-mainstream messages can be absorbed by the very culture they resist. Nirvana and grunge music became symbolic of rebellion, but in reaching the masses, they also became part of pop culture. Cultural critic Theodor Adorno points out that hiding the process enables an ideology of individuality. People think they choose products based on tastes and preferences, but this is just the appearance of free choice. This is perfectly exemplified through Nirvana's history as we just saw. People chose to listen to them thinking it would make them feel special, but don't realize they were just driven into the opposite effect. You can really see the oxymoron that everyone is unique play in action. Even rebellion can be marketed. The underground becomes mainstream, absorbed into culture and sold back to us in cycles. So, are we really making unique choices? Or are we just moving within a different set of expectations? John Carpenter's They Live follows John Nada, a homeless man who stumbles upon a pair of glasses that changes his perception of reality. When he puts on these strange glasses, he's shocked to see the world stripped of its familiar colors and brand advertisements, revealing an underlying monochrome reality. In this hidden world, the billboards, magazines, and dollar bills he once knew are filled with subliminal messages like consume, obey, and stay asleep. The glasses expose an authoritarian layer of control where aliens pose as humans, manipulating the masses by shaping what they see, want, and even think. This unsettling revelation forces Nada to confront the disturbing truth that what he had once thought of as freedom and choice are carefully orchestrated illusions. Carpenter's glasses become a metaphor for critical consciousness, a tool that forces Nada to see beyond the comforting but deceptive surface of daily life. John Nada therefore fights through a series of challenges and barriers, escaping his comfort zone to destroy the array of signals that hides the truth from everyone, ultimately being able to reach freedom. Not only is this idea illustrated in Nada's journey, but is also shown in the film's infamous fight scene where he attempts to force his friend Frank to put on the glasses, dramatizing the resistance we often feel when confronted with the hidden forces that shape our lives. The fight went on for almost 6 minutes, underscoring the lengthy effort and dedication it takes to escape from ideology and seek true freedom and individuality. Theodor Adorno mentions that to escape boredom and avoid effort are incompatible. Nada's friend, Frank, who lives a normal standard life as a construction worker, stated that,
"No, you ain't showing me nothing. I got a wife and kids, so leave me alone."
To some, not to say that his life is boring, Frank as an entity can be seen as accustomed to the norm and repetitive, and it symbolizes the absence of true individuality. He originally rejects the idea to put on the glasses or to listen to what John had to say in order to continue living a comforting life with his family, working his normal job. To escape this boredom or absence of freedom, however, he had to put up with the long-lasting pain in a fight against John Nada. The glasses reveal the truth, but without them, people are stuck consuming ideology, blind to the forces shaping their choices. Ideology, as Carpenter portrays, demands comfort. It provides us easy identities, easy narratives, and easy ways to ignore the fact that we might not be as dependent as we believe. Even if you did acknowledge the truth, some may want to continue to live in the cycle of being consumed for comfort, as the gateway to individuality is putting in effort.
Every teen who has been on social media has seen at least one Sigma male edit or seen Andrew Tate.
People said they don't like it, and I said, "Well, what color is your bag?"
Since 2022, countless young men and teens have latched onto this identity, a self-proclaimed outsider who rejects traditional hierarchies while remaining superior to them. This has gained popularity through media edits and representations, like American Psycho's Patrick Bateman and influencers like Andrew Tate. Promoted by internet cultures and course-selling gurus, the Sigma male archetype appeals to men who seek to embody individuality by existing outside of societal norms. However, this ideal is anything but the unique. The pursuit of this ideal ironically results in the same conformity it claims to reject. It fosters a false sense of individualism. It's a one that is dangerous, misogynistic, and builds a toxic attitude. Young teens who strive to be unique through the Sigma male identity is simply adopting another predetermined mold.
Well, let's just say hypothetically, okay, what if they have a good personality? I know. There are no girls with good personalities.
It's marketed as rebellion, but still conforming to its ideology. Gurus and influencers profit by selling courses, books, and lifestyle products that promise to help individuals become the ideal Sigma male. These products give consumers the illusion that they're forging their own path, when in reality, they're participating in the same culture that they aim to transcend. Guns, a staple to the American nation, symbolizing freedom and self-reliance. Hidden in this iconic image lies an interplay of culture, ideology, and demand. In Masculinities by R. Connell, she states, "The body is like a canvas to be painted." For centuries, guns have been marketed as more than just a tool for defense. They're symbols of what it means to be a real man. Advertisements now glorify guns that enhance your status, promise power, control, and patriotism, tapping into American ideals. Slogans and campaigns such as Bushmaster's Man Card, guns seem like the necessity for men to show off their masculinity and independence. R.W. Connell describes in her text, hegemonic masculinity defines the ideal man as tough, dominant, and self-sufficient. The US gun industry uses the script to build a loyal base of consumers who see guns as a necessary part to their identity. In a country where individualism is celebrated, guns are empowering, making a man feel like a hero. The introduction of the JR-15 and AR-15 designed for children represents an extreme step in normalizing gun culture from a young age, especially with the aid of video games. The industry extends these ideals to younger audiences. On Ryan Bousset's critique of the gun industry, he explains how the repercussions are clear. A week later, school children in Uvalde were murdered by shots from a Daniel Defense rifle. In this industry, marketing goes far beyond just promoting this mere product. The dangerous blend of ideology and consumerism shows how deep these ideals are ingrained, revealing sometimes tragic consequences.
Disillusion isn't just harmless marketing. It's a force driving manufactured demand economically. Imagine you're an infant. You're left to live in a music store without any outside influences. The store contains every single type of music, ranging from the least popular jazz psychedelic folk fusion to the most mainstream pop genre that we all know of. This is true freedom and individuality. You aren't guided by any social media, source of marketing, previous knowledge, or people to influence what you listen to. There's little to no demand curve, let alone any elasticity. No ideology to influence our choices. It's all from the heart. However, no one is like this. No matter how hard we try, we cannot cleanse ourselves of the effects of ideology. Said by Yuval Noah Harari in Sapiens, Homo sapiens is a unique species, because we are the only species on Earth that can believe. Humans are able to create fiction, and so we are able to influence and act upon ideology. And this ability that we carry drives demand and elasticity. Therefore, in a world without ideology, demand wouldn't exist. In other words, demand isn't just a natural response to inherent value. It's manufactured. And that poses the question, how do we follow our true intentions? In our world littered with influences, we prompt you to consider each purchase and decision by acknowledging the glasses in order to try to get as close to your purest form of individuality. So, are you willing to put on these glasses?